Korea could be incentivized to work like this, it became almost a compulsive working society. People became addicted to their work, and in many ways they still are.
Yeah.
In the modern era, one expression has become synonymous with Korean character, pali pali.
Palika.
It's been a hurry culture with its positive and pejorative connotations. I think we have learned from this.
Samsung.
A lot of these things we have achieved in such a short period of time is because of hurry and pali culture.
For Korea to move forward in some ways, it needs to take a step back. Its education system and its companies are locked into a certain way of thinking, of rote learning, of mass production, and there needs to be a sense of how do we incorporate creative thinking, innovation, different types of companies into our economy? How do we allow the middle order, more innovative companies to stand on their own and not be eaten by the chaebol?
But even as they begin to address their social problems, South Korea's political ambitions are starting to be realized. When President Lee Myung-bak hosted the G20 in 2010, the country believed it was time they were recognized as one of the world's developed nations, but with an awkward history.
Because of North Korea always sitting there looming on the border, South Korea has always wanted to be known for, first of all, its democratic triumph and throwing off a military dictatorship at the end of the 1980s that then was almost celebrated by the Olympics. Then, later in 2002, we have the World Cup shared with Japan,
Yes.
which they saw as another great coming out festival, which again so upset North Korea that they tried to upset it with a naval battle off the coast at the same time. And then, more recently, last year, we had their presidency of the G20.
At the G20, the South Koreans presented an initiative suggesting a different way to give aid to underdeveloped countries.
And the head of the IMF praised Korea for its intellectual leadership. Now, we spent a lot of time in the history of Korea looking at Korea as a nation that was a fast follower, that was master of catch-up or being a copycat. So when he went out and praised some of the economists from Korea as being intellectual leaders, that was something new. I think over the next decade, we're certainly going to see more and more spheres of life where the Koreans are giving leadership, ideas and creative thinking, fields where we haven't even seen them before.
Oh my god.
But South Korea remains only half of a nation that has existed since the 7th century. Could it be in this century that it unifies with the North?
Opa.
There are many optimists who think that the unification could actually be the shot in the arm that the South Korean economy has always needed. That there's going to be a cheap workforce, there's going to be room for development of South Korean factories up north, that always South Koreans are looking for that point of comparison with Japan. Will unification be the thing that gives us that extra fillip and brings us up to the level that the Japanese are at?
Even without unification, to progress and get that competitive edge, South Korea needs its trademark on products to be as nationally strong as French perfume, German cars, and Japanese technology.
Once upon a time, Samsung,
They
fought purely on price. Now they fight on design and service.
It is our technology that made your life smart.
We're now approaching what I sort of see as the third Korean wave. If the first Korean wave was LG, Samsung arriving in our households, more Hyundai vehicles and Kia showing up on the street. If the second wave was the K-pop boom, the soap opera boom, let's say the whole soft power boom that we've seen from South Korea, the third wave is going to be an industrial and brand one. And what we're about to witness are Korean brands hitting every other part of our daily life.
After 60 years of near relentless growth, does South Korea feel it has achieved its goal? And is there more to come?
Hello, baby, I'm black.
On the whole, I think South Koreans today,
Fighting.
in 2011,
Oh yeah.
feel relatively comfortable economically. There isn't a great deal of discontent in their lives. They worry about North-South Korean relations. They worry about the environment. They worry about the scarcity of resources. They worry about their children. But these are the worries of a relatively affluent, relatively comfortable economy anywhere on this planet. The only distinction, I think, is that the Koreans may be still a bit more hungry than the wealthier European countries or North American countries.
Now is an interesting time to be Korean and see how well South Korea can fulfill its promise of great things to come. Everything points to a vibrant country that has married the best of both Western and Asian culture in a free market economy, and it could well make South Korea the nation to watch.
Jesus. Oh, kabo. Oh, thank you. Arirang TV. Shit.